The recording.
Yeah,
So I don't have presentation today, so I will just go ahead directly. Okay.
yeah, yeah.
So this is the output of the application that we have executed earlier yesterday, right?
Yes,
So by the
yes,
time you have asked that how to set different values for different instance of the fragment, right? Same thing how you will be
yes.
using as a edit mode, how you will be using as a create mode. So yesterday, since there was we are out of time, I was not able to show that. So I will begin with this, then I will go ahead with the XML format, then I will go ahead with this today's class, right? So see, I have created one instance of the fragment which is displayed as the first layout here. Then I have created one other instance of the fragment which is displayed as the second thing here. If you remember, while I was telling you about setting the model, I have told you three things. One is setting the model to the core, setting the model to the view, and setting the model to the control itself. So whenever I'm going to set it to a specific control, the data in that model are going to be available only for that particular specific control. Now say for example, this title and the label I wanted to appear from the model according to my instance. So for the first instance I'm going to have a different title, and for the second instance I'm going to have a different label and title. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to construct the model. So variable model. Before that I will construct the data. So assume that the data is going to be like this. Since it is a JSON, I'm creating it in key value pair. So the title, it's going to be employee details create. Then I set label as enter your first name. Then I'm creating one more property enabled, which is true. So I have now created three attributes in the data. So based upon this data, I'm going to construct my model. So for that, variable o model is equal to new sap dot ui dot model dot json, sorry, json dot json model. Now in this I'm going to say, okay, I'm going to construct the model with this particular data. Just hold on for a minute, just give me a minute. Hello.
Hello?
Yeah, sorry.
Yeah, yeah, carry on.
Okay, so I just have constructed the model, right? Now this model, it contains this data. Now what I'm going to do is, to this particular fragment, earlier we have set it to the core, right? But this time I'm going to set it to the control itself. So for the first instance of fragment that I have created, I'm setting the model as this. Now here I'm just going to change it according to the binding. So this would be the title, and the title is right away in the root, and this would be f name. This is also in the root, and I'm inserting one more property enabled, that is either going to set the value to editable or non-editable. So that one I'm setting to enabled. So we have three data: title, label, and enabled. So this one has to be labeled. Now, if you refresh this application, you will notice that only this will have the value and this will not have the value, because I haven't specified the binding relationship for the second one. So that is the reason why the title was not created and the corresponding label was not created. Only for the first model, I have set the value employee details create and enter your first name. Now, for the second model, like I told you, according to the model you are setting, the value is going to be created. For the second model, I'm going to create a new set of data, say for example data 1, which is going to have all these three properties but as a different value. Value can be different, but the name of the attribute has to be same, because only based on that the binding has been done. So I wanted it to be non-editable. Then whenever I'm going to display it, I do not want it to have this value, and here I will make it as display. Now based upon this data, I'm going to create a different model. Variable o model 1 is equal to new sap dot ui dot model dot json model. Then I set it to data 1. Then to this instance, that is fragment 1 dot set model of o model 1. Now if you see, if you refresh the application for the second instance, you will get the value from the second model. So the title has been given as display, the label is only first name, and the input field is non-editable. You got the point?
Yeah, yes, yes.
Okay.
Yes, Vinny.
Hello. Okay, so hello. Okay, fine. So we are done with the JS fragment. So the next exercise, I will go ahead with the XML fragment. So I'll just close all these things and I will go ahead and create a new project. So I have sent you the list of some of the exercises, the file. So you can just extract them to a folder and then you can import it into your Eclipse, and you can just go through the code and you can take some help from that. So basically, if you do not know how to import it, just right click here, go to the import, then the import section. Here in the general, you have to choose existing project into workspace, then you have to say next. Then in the root directory, you have to click on browse and you have to select the folder location where your project is available. So choose the project, then you will get the list of project here, then click on finish, it will get imported. Then you can just straight away execute the application, you don't have to do anything else. Okay, so let me just go ahead and create the XML fragment, which would be So before that I will just create the fragment bus. So the procedure is going to be exactly same the way that we have created our XML fragment. So I'm just going to create a folder called fragments, and inside this folder I'm going to create my XML fragment. So the extension for the file would be xmfragment.xml. Now if you note the difference between the XML fragment and the XML view, in the XML view your application would be starting like this. That is, it will be starting with the view tag, which is going to represent it as a view. But whereas here the XML fragments, it start with the control itself. So basically it's a part of a layout that you can insert it anywhere you wanted, and just like we did in the JS fragment, you can also bind it the way you wanted according to the different instances. So in this example, what I'm going to do is I'm going to also show you how to make use of the dialog controls, that is the pop-up. So basically the pop-up has a content region. So whenever a element is going to have a content region, then you can set any other type of control inside that content region. Say for example, inside the shell content region we have set the entire view, right? So inside the layout also we can set the entire view. So whenever it is a content region, you can set any control that is supported. So it can be a single element, or you can just group your layout inside the layout control and you can set the layout control in the content region, or you can create everything in a view and then you can set the view in a content region. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to create a dialog control. So for that I'm creating this dialog tag. Now while creating the dialog tag, while creating the dialog tag, I'm going to pass some other values, which is id, that I'm going to say as dialog id. Then the next property that I'm going to pass is xml ns. So this one I have already mentioned you, like what is xml ns. It's basically the library that it is has to load. So whenever I specify a tag directly, then it means the tag is coming from the xml ns library. If I'm going to specify the tag, say for example b dot, then that is going to be coming from xmlns b. So that is going to be the naming convention. So this is going to be coming from the library tag. Then some of the header like show header is equal to, I'm setting this property to true. Okay, fine. So that is what I wanted to set. Then after that I'm setting the content region. So inside the content region from the XML library, I'm going to set the label control, and I'm going to specify the ID as. So okay, basically I have told you that whenever we are going to create the fragment, you do not need to set the ID. So I have also explained the reason why yesterday. ID, then the text property is going to be enter your name. So I can either close the tag like this, or I can either close them as a standalone tag, just like this. Then I'm going to create an input field, and the value is going to be, say, default value, and I will close this as well. So I have created a dialog. Whenever I wanted to pop up this dialog, that is whenever I wanted to trigger this pop-up, I can instantiate this fragment and I can display them. So first I'm going to create a button, which is variable button is equal to new sap.ui.commons.button. So for the button I give the id as btn, then I specify the text as display dialog, and whenever the button is being clicked, I'm going to write the execute the following action. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to instantiate this fragment and I'm going to open it. So what I'm doing is for instantiating the fragment, I have to use the view sap dot ui dot xml fragment, whereas for JS view we have used this sap dot ui dot js fragment. So here we have used sap.ui.js fragment, and here we are supposed to use sap.ui.xml fragment, and the naming convention is going to be exactly the same thing, which is just give me a minute. So sap.ui.xml fragment, and this is an exercise 16 fragments.dialog. Fragment.dialog. I'm instantiating it, and using this reference I am opening the dialog, because open is the method using which I wanted to open it. Something has gone wrong, I just have to check it. F12. This says favicon. Okay, return o button. So now when I click on this button, it has opened my dialog pop-up. So I haven't created any buttons, which is the reason why it did not create the buttons. So for buttons, I think buttons is the aggregation. So inside this I'm going to create a button with the text close, and when I press on this button I wanted to handle dialog method to be triggered. So if I execute this, I think I have to give title, let's say false. Okay, so whenever I click on close, I wanted to close this dialog. Now if you have noticed, the reference of the dialog is there in the fragment. So what I'm going to do is, now I can only handle my methods in the controller file that is associated with the fragment. So how do I specify what is the controller? That I have to specify at the time of instantiating itself. When I instantiate the fragment itself, I have to tell what is the controller that is associated with this particular fragment. So I have specified this so that I can handle the method here, which would be I think I have given handle dialog function of, say let's put a debugger. Now whenever I am going to click on this close button, my event handler method is going to be triggered. It's not triggered. Oh, controller, it's assigned. It's opened. Mm, What is the name of the method? Handle dialog. Just let me create it separately. One second. Handle dialog main controller. Am I writing in the correct controller? So this is exercise 16 main. Exercise 16 main. The dialog is close. Press handle dialog. So this has to be the code. Process the event. And what is it missing? SS handle dialog. At the time of instantiating, we are pausing this O controller as well for this particular dialog. Mm, no host is found. We are not even getting error message. Okay, let's not waste time on this. I will just check it out and I will let you know. So basically, when I have created this event handler method, it should have accepted this controller file as the controller for this particular thing, and it should be triggering this handle dialog method. But the code here is not reaching out here to the handle dialog method, so it is not reaching till this point of time. So whether we have done something wrong here? No, everything seems to be fine. Okay, this is fine. Function this dot get, so this is fine. Here also I have paused this controller reference for this particular fragment, and when I say handle dialog, it is supposed to go to there. So is there any other method with the same name? Handle dialog. Let's say I will just rename it to close dialog. So actually what I have done here is I have created a variable in the view. So I haven't created as a local variable inside the method, but instead I have declared it as a global variable. Now whenever I created the instance of the fragment, I have stored that instance in the global variable. Now the way I have opened the dialog, that is using the reference of the dialog, I have to use it in the same way using the reference of the dialog itself. So for that purpose, in order to get the reference here, since I have created it inside this inside this create content method, I won't be able to get the reference over here in the controller. So what I did, I have created a global variable as a dialog. Then in the dialog, I have obtained the reference of the fragment. Then later on, whenever this close dialog function is called, I'm getting the view reference, that is the main view reference. In that main view reference, I'm accessing the variable dialog, which is created as a global variable. That variable is containing the reference of the that dialog. Using that, I'm calling the method close to close the values. So basically the mistake that was happening here is the dialog, it is not accepting the reference of the controller. So I have to check why it is not accepting the reference. Now let us move ahead with the next topic. So I will just check and I will let you know that.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you.
Okay, so let me close this. Exercise 17. Then next I would go ahead with the tool pop-up, which is a part of UX library. So tool pop-up and the pop-up are extremely different things. The tool pop-up, they come exactly along with the control. We have to specify who is supposed to open the tool pop-up, and for the button I do not have to specify that. So let me just go ahead and create it. I'm just creating a main view, and so sorry, let me say tool pop up, and the view type is JavaScript, and I create it. So since it is part of an sap.ui.ux3 library, I'm just including that library. Then I am creating the instance of the tool pop-up. So tool pop is equal to new sap.ui.ux3.tool pop-up, and I believe this has two properties. Tool ID, who is the opener. Then let me just open the developer guide. Tool plus sap UI5. So basically, if you see, this is going to be the tool pop-up. So it's just going to open up the some of the content next to your control from where you are triggering it. So if I go to the API documentation, in the constructor summary, I can see that what are the values that I have to fill. The value that I have to fill is the title, which is going to be just a minute. So opener is going to be button to new sap.ui.commons dot. Up. I'm going to press on this button. Then I'm going to check. So what I have done is I have created the instance of tool popup, right? So I have created the instance of the tool popup and I have specified the opener of the tool popup, like which control is going to open this tool popup. And when the tool popup has been opened, what is the content that has to be displayed inside the tool popup? So I have just created a simple text view. I have not created much content over here. So just for demo purpose, I have just created a simple content for the tool popup. Then I have created the button control which will actually open the tool popup. So the text for the button is open tool popup. Then whenever I'm going to click on that button, if the tool popup is already open, then it is going to close it. If it is not closed, then it is going to open it. Sorry, if it is not open already, then it is going to open it. So this is open off is the method which is going to tell you that whether the tool popup is already opened or not, right? So I hope you got my point. So this is just a simple control like any other controls. I have to create the instance of this. Just have to tell who is supposed to open this tool popup. When I click on this button, it is going to open the tool popup. So I will just return the button control and let me test it. So you can see that the tool popup has been opened with the content being the hello that we have set as the content area. Now if I'm going to press it again, then it is going to hide it because in our condition we have this check that we have this check that whether the tool pop-up is open, we have expected it to be closed. So that is the reason why it has been closed. So clear with the tool pop-up?
Yeah.
Okay, so in the same example, I will do the dialog control as well. So for that, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to create a,
Hello.
yeah.
Yeah, Srinivas. Can you execute this tool pop-up? So it is only showing the tooltip, right?
It's a kind of a tooltip actually.
Okay.
Okay, not like a tooltip.
Okay.
Whatever the content region that you are creating over here. Say for example, so now this will open up the form that I have created. So whatever is there in the content region, it is going to open that.
So what is the purpose actually, like to
In the
reduce
mobile
the
control,
complexity, or what is the purpose
it's not like to reduce the
of tool pop-up?
complexity. It's just to show information side by according to the controls. Okay, so it's just to show you some minimum control as a pop-up in the mobile. It's a part of UX3 library, just like your dialogues.
Okay.
You have pop-up, right? This is a
Yeah,
different
we
way
have
of
pop-up.
showing the pop-up. So the pop-up will be like opening like
Okay.
an alert window in the middle, right? So this will be open right next to your control. So you can know that, okay, this action is coming from this. This has
Okay.
something to do with this. Okay.
Okay. Yeah.
New, other view. So I'm just going to create a button, and in the button I'm going to open the dialog. So variable o button is equal to new sap dot ua dot comments dot button. Log. So let me check the class name for horizontal layout. Okay, horizontal layout. The properties that I have to fill are content. So the only difference between horizontal layout and the vertical layout is whatever I'm giving in the content region, they are going to be arranged horizontally in the horizontal layout, and they are going to be arranged vertically in the vertical layout. So we will see both the type of layout now. So I'm just creating the horizontal layout with the content being the form that I have created previously. Wait a minute, let me copy the same thing, just a label on the input field. Okay, so this is the content that I'm going to display. So if you see horizontal layout, they are always going to be displayed in the horizontal manner, which means they are going to be displayed side by side, whereas in the vertical layout they are going to be displayed up and down. So dialog dot add content, the content would be coming from o layout, o dialog dot open off. Okay, so let me put a debugger here. And in the index.html file, instead of executing the tool pop-up, I wanted to execute the dialog and show me the dialog. What is the title here? This extends from horizontal layout, and horizontal layout has the property specified here. This extends from horizontal layout, and let me give this title. So when I click on open dialog, you can see that this dialog has been opened. So when I say open dialog, instantiate the dialog. Why is my debugger not working? Okay, duplicate. So since I'm doing it again and again, it is creating with this ID duplicate ID. So that you have to prevent whether it is already created. Only if it is not created already, then only you have to create it. So I'm just adding the content as O layout. Then I'm instructing it to be opened. So I think I have to set the property for dialog. I think we have this property title for dialog. Comma title is equal to okay. So this comes with the title. So now if you want a close button, then you have to set the close button for the dialog. So the property for that you have to fill is I think we have to okay, only for this fragment we have kept this close button. For this you can just create the content. Inside the content you can create the button, and then from the control you can handle it by just getting the reference of your dialog, and then you can call the method close to close the dialog. So clear with this? Hello, Ram, Harish, Imran, any doubts?
Hello.
Yeah.
Yes, Srinivas, can you explain once again what you did here?
See, what I have done is I have just created a simple button control. Can I go on mute? So I have just created a simple button control. Whenever I'm clicking on the control, I wanted to open the pop-up, which is a dialog. So whenever I click on the button, what I'm doing, I'm creating the instance of the pop-up. That is, I'm creating the instance of this dialog class. Then I am adding content to the dialog. Then I am calling this method open. So in case if I wanted to close it, then I have to get the reference of the dialog manager and I have to call the method close. So this is exactly the same process similar to that of what we have in WebDyn Pro. You get the window reference and then you say open. Again you get the window reference and then you say close. So that is exactly what I am doing here. So now here I have just created a simple layout content. Typically in real time we will be creating a lot of content in a view. Then I would be instantiating that view over here and I will be showing it. Say for example, if I wanted to instantiate this tool pop-up view, I can instantiate it over here. Then I can, in the add content method, I can pass the reference of the view so that the view will be displayed as the pop-up. You got my point?
Okay. Yeah.
Okay, so just 1 minute. I will try to explain why this was not working. So we just have only 5 more minutes time. I don't think I will be able to complete table in that meantime. So let me just check out for something else. So today we are done with this tool pop-up control. Then dialog I have already checked it. Data model I did not do today. Element binding has not been done. XML fragment is done. Then anything else we did today? XML fragment, pop-up dialog.
Srinivas,
Yeah.
actually in the beginning of the class you told like using fragment you showed one of
Which one? I'm not able to hear you. I'm not able to hear you. Very noisy.
I just showed me once. I disturbed that one.
Which one? I'm not able to hear you. Can you ping?
Yeah, one second. Hello?
Yeah.
In the beginning of the class, hello, Srinivas.
Yeah, tell me. Actually, it's very noisy around you.
Okay. Nothing. In the beginning of the class, you showed fragment, right, in disabled mode.
Yeah. Fragment.
Can you just show me once that one? Yeah, can you show me that one?
Which exercise is that? So this is the fragment that we have created. Earlier we have hard coded it. This time I'm just using the value. I have using the binding. So I think I did something wrong. Okay. So here what we did is we have created separate data for the first fragment and I have binded it, and I have created separate data for the second model and I have binded it. Now this is the first instance of fragment and this is the second instance of fragment. Since I have binded this model 1 to the fragment 1, then it is going to pick that this particular data. Here this fragment I have binded to the second model that I have constructed, so it is going to take the data from the second one. So it always depend upon the instance of the fragment that we are binding to which model. So that is what is going to consider.
Okay.
Okay. So let me just open up one more thing. Okay, if it was not working, actually it is not working in my previous example as well. Okay, fine. So I will just check this and I will let you know why this event handler method was not triggered. So we will sit again tomorrow, same time. Hello.
Yes, Srinivas, not a problem. Actually, I think you have to send one more video, XML,
That I have
the
sent.
class.
Today I have sent
No,
that.
I think XML you have sent.
Yeah, XML only, no? XML view, XML model. That was the one that was pending earlier.
Okay.
That one I have
You
sent.
sent this. No, you sent HTML view, XML view, right?
That
Today?
also I have sent. I have sent 2 videos today.
2 videos. Okay. Mm-hmm. Okay, fine. Yeah.
Okay then. Okay then. See you tomorrow again.
Yeah. Bye. Good night.